Are you tired of feeling trapped by self-doubt and anxiety? Do you long to embrace happiness and unlock your true potential? Well, I have some exciting news. I just revamped my guided journal from anxiety to unshakable confidence. It is the ultimate guided journal for overcoming self-doubt and embracing happiness. It's not just your ordinary notebook or journal you'd buy at Five Below. It's a powerful tool designed to help you navigate through the depths of your thoughts and emotions, empowering you to break free from self doubt and anxiety. Say goodbye to sleepless nights and endless worrying. I know you guys understand that. With the guided journal, you'll embark on a transformative journey filled with self reflection, self discovery, and personal growth. Each page is thoughtfully crafted to guide you through exercises and prompts that will challenge your limiting beliefs, boost your self confidence, and ignite your inner happiness. Imagine feeling a newfound sense of calm and clarity as you conquer your fears one page at a time. You can move at any pace you choose. I actually recommend that, moving at a slower pace and giving yourself time to digest all the information. The journal is a companion, providing a safe space to express your emotions, reflect on your achievements, and set powerful intentions for a brighter future. So, whether you're a busy professional, a student, a parent, or just someone seeking a positive change in your life, this guided journal is a perfect opportunity for you. It's an invaluable tool that fits seamlessly into your daily routine, allowing you to cultivate a mindset of self belief and resilience. So, what do you say? Are you ready to embark on a journey of self discovery and transformation? Don't let your self doubt hold you back anymore. The best part is it's only $5.99. So, if you're not sure if you're ready for coaching or therapy or just can't afford it, then this is a great option to begin your journey today. Visit my website, or the link is in the show notes below, for your guided journal from anxiety to unshakable confidence. Remember, it's time to feel less anxious and more confident. Hey everyone, welcome to Healthy Mind, Happy Life podcast. I am your host, Caitlin Englert. I believe that we can all move through life transitions without losing who we are, but it takes the right support, community, and connection to carry us through. We can heal through sharing experience, strength, and hope. Each week, we will have genuine and real conversations that will inspire you to shift your mindset to live a happier, free life. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today and welcome back. Oh, let's see, where have I been at recently? Things are going pretty well internally and externally. Um, okay, no, I will say internally. Externally, there's always a lot going on. It's just life is life, right? It just keeps showing up, especially when we're not expecting it. And right now we just have some family stuff going on that we're trying to navigate. But internally, things are, I think, exactly where they need to be. And I am just really looking for signs around me and guidance and trying to really tune in to who am I? What are my decisions? What is my thought? Instead of having this external influence from wherever, people, social media, things I see, wherever it comes from. I'm just a very easily influenced individual. I always have been. And I'm really breaking free from that. And I'm attempting to break free from it. It's not perfect. There's days that I feel like I am away from it. And then there's days it shows back up and tells me, no, you're not. And recently I actually had a situation where I did an interview with someone on the podcast and it went horrific. I will not be sharing that interview. It was very, very bad. And I don't think it was necessarily bad on like my end or their end. It just was not a good fit. And what it brought up for me was this old story that I formed when I was a kid, which is I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not important. And what is this person thinking of me? So that's like my major story that I've had most of my life. I struggled really bad in school growing up, and I never felt like I fit in terms of academics. And I just was always behind, and I worried about what other people thought about me, that I was stupid and couldn't pass my tests, and I was in extra reading support classes. And so I navigated my way around that by cheating and lying at an early age. I mean, 8, 9 years old, I started doing this. And so when I think back to this interview last week and then that connection to when I was a child, that's exactly what it brought up for me. And because I couldn't let go of it, it made me really uncomfortable. And I was very, very upset about it. Like, I even just went to the store, and before I got out of my car, I just cried because it left me feeling really not good enough, that I shouldn't be doing this kind of work, and I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm dumb, and I'm a fraud, and it just surfaced all of these things that are not true. They're things that I made true about myself, but they're not facts. They're based on my experience from long, long ago, that I perceived people's behavior. I perceived myself in a classroom setting, perceived things people said to me, or maybe they weren't saying, but I heard or perceived as like judgments. And I learned how to fit in. I tried to. I don't think any of us ever fully learn that. And we are always just trying to, never fully arriving there, because it's not really a thing. Belonging and fitting in are different. We need to belong for basic human connection and to like thrive as a human being. Fitting in is not the same thing. Fitting in to me is like very ego-centered, and feeling like that drive to fit in with a group of people because we think we have to, or because it meets a need. Belonging is acceptance and connecting with people. Like, you just feel it in your body. Like, you know when you have your people and when you're trying to force it. And that's exactly what this interview was. It was this bad connection with someone and just wasn't meant to be. Really is not a reflection of who I am or what I am, but it was that initial reaction of that's how it felt. And we were going to do that. Well, we did do the interview on fawning, which is the fourth F of the nervous system. So you have fight, flight, freeze, and then fawning, which is in basic terms, people pleasing. And so I found myself, like, even after the interview, wanting to, because this person hung up before I was like even done fully recording, and we didn't get a chance to like talk about it afterwards, just hung up. So I found myself wanting to reach out and just apologize and say like, sorry, that didn't go well. There were some awkward moments, or this wasn't working well. And then I asked myself, why? Why are you doing that? And that's exactly what it was. The topic that we talked about, it was this, oh, I'm worried that this person thinks this about me, and so I must reach out and make sure they don't think this about me, and please, and like ease the situation. And I didn't end up reaching out because I knew it wasn't coming from a place of spirit center. It was coming from a place of a wound that sending an email wasn't going to fulfill, right? It's my duty to fulfill that. And so today I thought that it would be important to talk about what fawning is and this people pleasing. So, fawning is the nervous system trying to respond to please everyone. It is another survival mechanism, and it really is about appeasing other people to avoid conflict and harm. It's a lot of people's natural response in situations where we feel threatened or unsafe. I mean, that's all of us are going to go into one of the four F's, either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn when we feel a threat. Now, back in the day, that was like a tiger trying to attack you. And your system would go either, okay, I'm going to fight and kill this tiger, or I need to run away and find safety. But our world has evolved since then. So now your threat might be the way your partner looked at you or said something, when someone doesn't text you back, something you see on social media, like a perfect picture of another family when yours is falling apart. There's all these different threats and things in our environment these days that feel really unsafe. So when an individual responds or has this response of fawning, their heart rate actually slows down and they may exhibit behaviors such as seeking approval, avoiding confrontation, or displaying like submissive gestures. And I'm sure either you do this or you know someone who does this. You could probably think of a few people right off the top of your head. It's someone who really just avoids conflict. And a lot of people say, oh, like I just avoid conflict or I don't like conflict. Of course, none of us really liked conflict or like conflict. It's uncomfortable to experience with someone because it's having to articulate how you're feeling. It's having to listen to someone else. It's having to hear things about yourself that probably don't sound that great or feel great. This is different. It is a very deep response that you have formed years and years and years ago from as a little kid. So it's kind of a natural part of social development. At a specific age, it's really between the ages of, I want to say when you're born up to like 7 or 8 years old, when that development of your nervous system is really thickening and developing and forming. And so fawning and people pleasing it's kind of a natural behavior that a lot of humans do to fit into society. It can vary at what age we may start doing that. It depends on if we're doing it to our parents, in school, with in social environments, or with friends. So it varies from kid to kid. It really plays out when kids start going to school because they start becoming more aware of different social dynamics and the importance of fitting in and getting made fun of or making fun of other people. And so that element is really outside the control of a parent, because we can tell our kids things, we can talk to them, we can keep an open dialogue, but ultimately they're having their own internal experience, and going through social dynamics in this social development is key to human development. We all have to go through it. So like as a parent, we can't protect our kids from it, but we play a very significant role in it, in helping our children shape their behavior and their social skills. And keeping a close eye on this fawning behavior specifically. Are they pleasing people? Are they modifying who they are and the way they think to fit in? I see this sometimes even with my daughter. She's the middle. And so I think it does play out for a lot of middle children. But she's the middle. And so you have the oldest with behavioral issues, and then the youngest who still needs a lot of care and attention. So her role she typically falls into is when there's a lot of chaos going on in the house is to fawn, to please and just make the environment more pleasing, because she sees the chaos going on and doesn't want to be a part of that. So she complies and becomes essentially like the good girl, the hero of the family. And my job as a parent is to observe that, to notice that, to be in tune with that. All the time? No, but it is something that I see playing out. And I can draw my attention into that and notice what role am I playing in that. Now, every generation we get better at parenting. So this isn't a skill that a lot of our parents had, or parents back in the day had. They just didn't know about these things. And now a lot of us, in our 30s, 40s, and 50s are becoming aware of it. And so we're modifying the way we parent because of that. And I just think that's so cool, like that we have this awareness and this awakening now, and it impacts the role that we play with our kids, the connection that we have with our kids. And so there's this line of letting them just be their own human and interfering and helping to guide them in these social settings and the environments that they're in. So fawning is this act of people pleasing. And as we grow older, as we know, the environments and the situations that we're faced with become harder. They become more complicated. And so we dive deeper into that pleasing behavior, where now we're pleasing a partner and we aren't meeting our own needs. We're not putting ourselves first. We find that too uncomfortable, so we put other people first. And it's almost a safety net, because it feels safe to do that. It feels safe to please other people and keep them happy instead of trying to challenge it. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of what it might look like in a child and what it might look like in an adult, because I know some of you are parents, so this might be helpful to see if your child is engaging in this fawning behavior. And it also is helpful to understand if we're engaging in this behavior. If you're a people pleaser, you probably already know this, but this takes it to the next level because it helps to understand that this behavior is somewhat out of your control, right? It's something you've developed throughout your life, and it's so automated that it's not just something you can think, oh, don't people please, and then you won't do it. It takes time to get into your nervous system, and you asking permission of your nervous system to not engage in this behavior anymore. Because if you just stop doing it and you're not ready, your system will go into shock, right? You might feel nauseous or shut down, feel completely deflated. There's a lot of things that could happen, and we don't want that either. So we have to go at this slowly, and this is anything, honestly. It's not just fawning behavior. It's any type of behavior or deep-rooted story that we're looking at within ourselves. We have to ask permission of our nervous system if it's okay to go in there and look at it. Because if it does not fully agree or it's not ready and you just go in there guns a-blazing, then it's going to kick you out and probably send you into a worse place. So going at this slowly is the best thing to do, even though I know it's really hard because we just want to feel better and fix things, but you have to go at it slow. You have to honor your nervous system and what it wants and what it's asking for. Okay, so examples of what this might look like in children. They may be excessively agreeable to things, to other kids their age or to their parents. They may express a lot of flattery, so they might compliment others excessively or give a lot of praise to gain approval. They likely seek validation from adults and peers just through constant reassurance. They may start mimicking behavior like actions, interests, mannerisms of others in attempt to fit in. So that's where a lot of bullying behavior can happen too, where they see a kid doing it and so they think it's cool, so they do it. So to just gain that acceptance of their peers. Over apologizing, they may say sorry a lot for mistakes or situations where it's just really not even necessary. And they may go out of their way to please others, even if this means abandoning themselves. That's what they will do. In an adult, this starts to manifest, like I said, into bigger scenarios where we are people pleasing by seeking approval and prioritizing the desire of others over our own needs and constantly just putting people in front of us. Again, over apologizing. So a lot of these are going to be similar. Over apologizing for things where it's not even necessary. I can't tell you how many people, like even sitting on my couch, apologize for crying, right? Or apologize for certain things that just it's not necessary. And we do this so often in relationships, in different environments, because we feel like it's just the right answer and we owe something to someone. We will definitely avoid confrontation. So someone who's fawning may go to great lengths to avoid conflict or disagreement, just so they don't have to express their own thoughts or concerns about the situation, because that makes them literally nauseous and sick to their stomach. So even bringing up an issue is just way too taxing to the nervous system. Agreeing to avoid rejection. So a lot of adults might agree with others' opinions and choices to prevent rejection and just maintain this sense of, quote, belonging, but really it's just fitting in. We confuse those two terms, like I said earlier. And so even if we disagree, we will just agree because we want to maintain like the status quo and fit in with this group. We will sacrifice personal boundaries. So if we have like negotiables and non-negotiables, those non-negotiables may become negotiable and we may flex on certain boundaries because, oh, that person just is who they are, right? They're not going to change, or it's just easier for me to let it go. Oh, you know how they are. So we'll just sacrifice ourselves, even if it's hurting us, because we don't want to confront that person or we don't want to be rejected by them. And the other one, and the last one, is just constantly seeking reassurance from people. So looking for that constant validation, reassurance that we're making the right decisions, or for validation of our self-worth, that we're doing okay, that we're moving in the right direction. And I see this a lot in my own life. That's why I just have had to get out of a lot of social media and even like talking to people. There's like maybe 2 or 3 people that I will talk to, but it's not because of other people. It's because of myself. Like I know that I look for reassurance. I know I look for approval. I know that I will sacrifice my boundaries. I know these things about myself. So I don't want to put myself in those scenarios that make me overwhelmed or make me feel like I have to modify myself. And again, it's not them, it's me. It's the story that I tell myself that I have to comply with these things in order to fit in. So that's the rundown on this fawning behavior. I felt it was important to at least touch on and review today. I wish I had an interview to give you guys. I love having interviews. I love bringing guests on and sharing just amazing content that I can't do all on my own. There's just so many great minds out there, and we really all need to work together to bring awareness and information and content to people who are looking to better themselves and looking to connect with who they are. It's so important, right? Because we have people in our lives, but ultimately we only have ourselves. And we know that there are people that are reliable that we can turn to during difficult times. But at the end of the day, every activation, everything we feel is because it's giving us information about ourselves. It isn't about other people. They may do something, or an environment may bring something up for us, but ultimately it's our responsibility to notice it, to receive that information, and then to do something about it. That doesn't mean you have to do it today. Sometimes this takes years. We have to think about it. We have to process it. We have to become aware of it. That really is the first step, becoming aware of it, and then asking permission to go in there, that it's okay to start doing something different. If you guys are wanting to dive deeper into this and look closer, essentially looking under a microscope with this, please reach out. I have a few coaching openings open. I have a few coaching slots open. And there's also a lot of great coaches and therapists out there. If I'm not the best fit, there's just so much information out there too. So be aware of what you're listening to, but also continue on this path. Continue to give yourself information. Continue to make yourself aware. Continue to just check in with yourself. That's all I have for today. Please send your questions. You can send in audio messages if there's feedback that you have, a story you want to share with me, something you think is important for me to know. Please send it in. I'd love to hear from you guys.